Good evening and welcome to the couch with Sharita. I am Sharita and it is so wonderful to have you here today. First, giving thanks to the Almighty God for everything that He's done for us in our lives. He's the head of our lives, and I am just so grateful and thankful to be allowed to have this opportunity to, come on here, share some information, have fun, um, laugh, and just, spend some time with you guys. I hope that you have had a wonderful week. And even if the week has been hard, that's okay because there's always an opportunity to have a better day, to have a better week. Just the blessing of being on this side, regardless of what's going on in the world today. Well, thanks for being here with me, Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM. Today, we get to talk about menopause and its effects on women, our bodies, our minds, our spirit. I have a very special guest here today with me. My sister Connie has decided to join me here to talk about this as women. We both are kind of going through this cycle, this change. And so I thought it would be a wonderful idea to have her on to help me talk about this thing, this weight that women go through that makes us feel not like ourselves, that makes us feel bad and weight it down. So yeah, because we go through this and sometimes we don't feel like us. And this is a biological thing that happens. We know that it's going to happen. I mean, we anticipate it happening, but I don't think we really anticipate some of the things that or the changes that we go through when this thing, comes about, when the changes happen. So, Connie, I will let you introduce yourself to the people, and you guys just sit back, relax, have your glass of wine, and let's talk about what this thing is.
Well, hello everyone. I am Big Sister Connie. So glad to be here. Bring a little bit of jubilance into this whole
Right.
thing. Even though we are talking about menopause. As Sharita said, I'm Big Sis. Like a lot of you ladies, I'm a full-time 9 to 5er, going to a job every day, just living life, doing things. Just trying to fill my life with as much joy as possible, staying grounded, staying rooted in Christ. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but that's when we lean on God and learn that it's always okay to reset. Whenever we want to, we can take a step back so we can learn how to better manage our lives, our relationships, our work-life balance, and just to keep us moving forward every day. And I think this is really going to be a great discussion, something that I know I've been looking forward to discussing with my sister, and hopefully to share knowledge and to learn a lot as well.
Oh yeah, because we all go through it, and when you talk about having that spiritual foundation, being able to have the supports, because most women have it very hard when it comes to perimenopause and going through menopausal symptoms. Again, this biological change that we go through, even though it marks the end of a woman's reproductive years, but most women feel like it marks the end of them. So it's always good to have the supports, whenever you need it. So, yes, this is a very important topic because there are so many changes within the body that come up. Women are having to deal with anxiety and depression. And some people, those symptoms become very worse. I mean, this shift in their moods, their libido goes down, hot flashes, night sweats, you're having to deal with all these things. So, Connie, I wanted to bring this to the table, again, because I know that I'm going through my change and you've had to deal with it. I know a lot of other women who have had to deal with it. just spoke with another friend earlier who wasn't feeling like herself, who felt like it just, it might have just been her hormones, kind of being off. So we all experience it. And if you are not experiencing it, at some point in your life, you will. I think the number one thing that comes out of it, at least for me, not having another cycle, like that's like having a birthday all year. Like I can celebrate that and be happy with that and not have to deal with that. However, I don't want to have to deal with the other changes and things that come along with it. But I mean, it is what it is. So for you, well, I'll say for myself, I think I started noticing changes probably about maybe 46, 47. And I guess those would kind of be the perimenopausal symptoms where you start to feel the shift in the cycle, becomes irregular and different things like that. And at some point now the hot flashes, but they're getting worse, and the night sweats and they're getting worse, waking up in a pool of water, you can't sleep, all these things. In the beginning, I didn't exactly know what this was, until I went to the OBG and she's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're going through the change here. And I, for myself, was just like, okay, but what does that mean? What happens now? And I think the more you become educated on perimenopausal symptoms and menopausal symptoms, the better you are able to control some of these things. But I definitely kind of want to get into some of the symptoms and what you can do, and just, how we feel as women, or how we don't feel like a woman when we go through this biological change. So, kind of for you, can you talk a little bit about when you first started noticing, I guess, menopausal symptoms and some of the things that you have gone through? Because I know, in the times that you would come visit, it's, hey, can you turn up the air, or, can we, because we get the flashes, you get the flashes, you get hot, you can't sleep, you can barely do anything. And let me just describe this heat for a second. This is an internal heat. It's kind of like having your own internal heater that you can't turn off. Um, you know, but what sort of symptoms did you notice when
Okay.
you started like going through the change?
I noticed for me, I think I may have been around 43, 44 years old, so fairly, relatively, I would say young. Initially, I had no idea what it was until, like you said, I went to the doctor, and then I'm just like you, was like, okay, well, it's that time. And the only thing for me is that I didn't feel less of a woman as far as my feeling beautiful, feeling feminine. I did not feel any less that of those things. My focus was mainly on what do I do now, and how do I control these feelings of irritability and these hot flashes. Initially, I had those two things along with terrible night sweats. Uh, Air conditioner turned down to 60, waking up on wet sheets, and then when you go back to quote unquote feeling normal, you're freezing to death.
Right.
So there was a lot of that. I can remember, and it's so funny, when it would during the winter, I'm having this immense hot flash, and my balcony at the time was just very secluded. I'm stepping out onto the balcony with no clothes on because I just had to have some immediate relief. I was so hot.
That is so sad. And I'm sure your neighbors, I'm almost certain that your neighbors were like, what am I witnessing right now?
It was a secluded balcony, so no one saw. So I made sure. But in dealing with it, I did try with the typical things, the black cohosh, this pill, that pill, and I myself never really got any relief. Right. And even all these years later, the only thing that truly helps me with the hot flashes, because those are the only symptoms that's the only symptom that I really feel to this day, is just the hot flash, not so much the irritability. I don't have night sweats anymore, thank the Lord, but the peppermint oil. And I use that. That helps me immediately, because I did not want to get into a thing of taking a lot of pills. And I definitely did not want to do the hormone replacement therapy.
Right. And I do the peppermint oil most nights. Now, what so of course I don't go outside. Well, I'll take that back. I have gone outside. I have gone out. Well, I had my robe on, but I've gone outside and I flashed nature. And of course, my husband is just kind of like, what, babe, really? Like, you're outside and opening up your robe, no clothes on. This is what we're doing. I'm like, but I am hot. Like, I'm burning up. And during the wintertime, I have the ceiling fan on. I have a fan by my bed. And there are times where the window is up and he comes to bed in full jogging suit, sweater, hoodie. And I'm like, why do you have so many clothes on? So many layers of clothes. He's like, are you kidding me? You're freezing me. But you're hot. You can't help it. And like you said, you're waking up in this pool of sweat, like you're just drenched. But I use the peppermint oil and it does help. But also what I've done, I have, now I've gotten this from Whole Foods. It's, and I think you can buy this anywhere. It's peppermint soap. It comes in a bottle. It's like the gosh, I can't think of the name of it, but it's like a natural soap. And it comes in different scents, but they have the peppermint one. And so I get the peppermint soap. I love that. So, oh my God, I love that soap. And I've also have bought unscented lotion. And I've taken the peppermint oil and I've paired it with the unscented lotion, and it's my peppermint lotion. And I remember going into Whole Foods and talking to one of the ladies in there. She's like, oh, well, here's what you can get. And so there's the peppermint soap and the peppermint lotion that I use, plus the peppermint oil. I smell like somebody's candy cane by the time all this is done. But the peppermint actually helps to cool down. Now, I don't like the hormone replacements, like the hormone replacement therapy. Like, I don't like that, all because of what it does to the body. And everybody's different, but I've heard some not so good things from some people. So let me just kind of say that if hormone therapy works for you, that's great. I know it may not work for everybody, but this is just us kind of throwing some things out there that work for us. But I like the idea of the peppermint oil and standing outside on your balcony naked whenever you
there you go. And
do that.
Like with you, at night, even in the winter, I would have that fan going. Did not turn on the heater, but see, with me, that's the joy of being single. There's no one to complain. So I would rather, during the dead of winter, have on my my onesie with my fluffy socks, no heater going, but because I tend to get overheated, quote unquote, I'm comfortable. So different things work for different people.
Right.
And that was the process that I allowed myself to go through, which was part of my devotion and meditation, trying to figure out what's best for me. And another thing that worked best for me was also managing my weight and eating properly.
Right.
And the thing with the eating properly is that today's food has so much synthetic this, red dye number 12, all this artificial and fake stuff. You really have to get into a mindset of being healthier.
Right.
And also just being in a position to where your body isn't having to break down all these chemicals and different things. So and of course drinking more water. You end up going to the bathroom a lot, but at least you're putting yourself in a better position of being a healthier you, and right. You're getting to know yourself in this new phase of life.
Right. No, I definitely agree. I mean, you talk about the diet and uh what you're eating and what you're not eating, because you have to think about it from the standpoint of this is a hormonal situation.
Yeah.
And so your hormones are going to fluctuate, it's not going to be as easy to lose the weight. You're going to gain the weight, all because in this process, your body, it's going to go through these changes, and sometimes it'll probably go through this change and thinking, okay, is this person, because of the hormonal changes, is this person pregnant? And what happens is those hormones get released, and now because the body is thinking that something else is going on, you know your cravings may increase, which means you may eat more. And so you kind of have to think about it from the standpoint of things getting released and kind of shifted around. And so diet is going to be very important. Regular exercise, even if it's just walking every day for 30 minutes, or doing something that requires less stimulation so you're not stressed out. Making sure you're getting your regular checkups, going to the doctor, especially for us women, because our bodies go through so much. You talk about drinking plenty of water. Alcohol will intensify the hot flashes.
It does.
It does.
It does. And I'm a wine lover, mm-hmm. So I definitely have to be mindful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something to deal with. So some of these physical symptoms, like we talked about, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the irregular periods, vaginal dryness, sleep disturbances, weight gain, slow metabolism. For some women, their hair it thins. You may have dry skin, some muscle aches. But kind of going back to the vaginal dryness, because I think, and forgive, when I say this, but when it comes to the libido, your sex drive, isn't the same. And so menopause, for a lot of us women, again, because we don't feel like ourselves, we want to be able to have that intimacy with our partners. And because our bodies are going through this change, again, we just don't feel comfortable. We don't feel right. We're not able to satisfy our partners like we want to. But here's what I say to that. Again, if you're trying a hormone replacement therapy, speak with your doctor about what you can do to kind of increase your libido as you're going through this biological change. But to the partners of the women who, are going through this shared thing, because you're there for their support, go easy on your women, and understanding what they're going through. And again, the more educated you are, the better it's going to be, and the better it's going to be for both people, because this is, it's almost like walking through the desert and, there's no real relief. This thing is hard. So, be easy with your partner, understand what they're going through, provide them with as much support as you possibly can as they're going through this. Some of the emotional and cognitive symptoms that may come up to mood changes, memory losses or memory lapse, and difficulty concentrating and focusing. I know for me, the shift in the mood is absolutely, I could probably kill everybody in this house. I mean, it's just, because you're in this up and this down. I mean, here's depression, here's anxiety, and some people go through really bad mental changes. And it's because of the fluctuating in the hormone levels. kind of for you, did you ever like, how was your mood? How was your mood going through menopause? I know for me, and still going through it now, I mean, I can tell the shifts in my mood. Some days I feel like, and some days I don't. But could you tell a difference in your mood?
I could, and after I found out what the issue, what was going on with me, um, it's almost like I kept a little angel or something on my shoulder, letting me know, hey, it's just the menopause, nothing's going on, stop wigging out. But, you know, getting into a rhythm of knowing what it was a job in itself. But the actual going through it, it was terrible. Coming home just feeling like, what in the world is happening? Every little noise, every little thing. Again, single lady, so didn't have a family to, hold up against the wall and say, stop making noise, stop doing this, don't do that. But just dealing with it myself. And at the time, and like now, I work a part-time job, so I kind of had that to focus on. So that kind of took some of the focus off of the irritability, but it was still something new that I had to learn how to manage. It was not fun for people who have yet to experience it, but with the fact that there's more knowledge out there.
Right.
Because back during those times, and I don't know about other races, but a lot of Black women, they just said you'll go through the change. There were no specifics.
Right.
No details, nothing about how this is how you manage it. And that may have been what they were given. So they could not give us something that they didn't have. They couldn't give us knowledge that they didn't have because it was just something that they dealt with.
Right.
And I look at women who were, our mom and grandmothers and aunts, with their husbands and children, and women who had 7 and 8 kids, and they worked and they kept the home. It's
right.
Back on it now, it's like those women were miracle workers, and here I am single with no kids, and it's just like I'm just like trying to figure out step 1, step 2, step 3. But I really had to learn to give myself some grace, take a step back, realizing that if I make a mistake, if I have a blow up, if I get irritable, the world will keep going on. Things will keep moving forward. And just, I'm just going to do what I've always continued to do, is to do my research, stay it, and not just, have a complete blow up every time, I have a mood swing, which my mood swings now, nothing like they used to be. But, you hate to, back then anyway, have a mood swing like you just said, and you're just like trying to keep a lid on it.
Right.
Because you're knowing that one day this volcano's going to erupt and people are going to be like, what's wrong with her? There were times when I'd have this like level 100 hot flash. So just imagine you're sitting in a conference room, everyone's there in the meeting, you're the only one that's on fire, and everyone else is just having a regular day. You're just like, what in the world?
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, because I can't, like, I'm sitting in, because working from home, and I am, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm doing therapy, and all of a sudden this internal heat, like you said, just somebody just lit me on fire from the inside. And I'm trying so hard not to grab anything on this desk that looks like paper that I could fan with, because the sheer embarrassment of having to do that. But like you said, giving yourself some grace. At some point, I'm just kind of like, you know what, screw it. So I get my little fan, and I'm just a fan, and I'm having to explain to my client who is in therapy for their own issues, why I'm over here fanning and taking off clothes, and all of a sudden it's kind of like, Miss Sharita, are you okay? Like, is it,
when it comes to the thing, I have about 4 portable fans, of course, to the central AC, and about 3 ceiling fans. I work from home at my office. I'm there 2 days a week. I have another portable fan. So I've got fans galore. I have a handheld fan that I keep in my purse. So I'm sitting in church. I have the little ornate, like little Japanese fan. I'm the only one sitting there while the pastor is just going on, and I'm just fanning. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to the point to where I don't care how it looks. I must have relief. And like you had mentioned earlier with the peppermint oil, I'm thinking, well, at least I don't smell like Ben Gay, with the,
right.
with all of this peppermint oil. And last year at my little part-time job, I was walking down the hall and I walked past this lady. She was like, "Oh, you smell just like Christmas." And I'm like, this peppermint oil, but it's just something new, something different. And I keep thinking,
listen, I think one night I put on so much peppermint oil, like it just started burning my eyes and my skin. I was just like, I have got to find me some relief. Like I could not. And because of that, now I can't sleep because I got too much peppermint oil on me. It was horrible.
Like, I know, and you get the eyes running, the nose runs, and at least I'm not sweating.
I'm just kind of like, I'm dying. I'm dying.
At least I'm not sweating. So it's just different things work. I'm currently on a self-imposed weight management thing. I found this app out online. So I have this goal that I'm trying to get down to. So I allow myself a certain number of calories per day, which is working.
Right.
And I have a part-time job where I'm just walking all over the building for like 4 hours a night. So I got this 20 hours a week of just walking, this exercise, which helps. So a lot of different things when you incorporate them into whatever your process is, you really, and I can't stress it enough, you really have to find what works best for you.
Right. Exactly. And because not everything is going to work for you. Like the peppermint oil works for me. The hormone therapy wouldn't work for me because of some of the side effects. In trying to do dieting, exercise works, taking a walk, but I think you're absolutely right. You have to be able to find what works for you. And that's the importance of staying educated and connecting with your primary care doctor, your PCP, and even for partners, having a conversation, sitting down with your partner and talking about what works, for what you're going through, and just keeping the lines of communication open, because again, not everything is going to work for everybody, and connect with other women who are going through the same thing. You and I mean, because we're siblings, but you and I connect a lot on what works and what doesn't work. Try this, or whatever, but connect with other women who are going through the same thing, because that provides you with a lot of support. But most importantly, and I just kind of want to tap back into what you were saying, give yourself some grace in this thing. Like, I was embarrassed about having a fan in front of my client, but after a while it's kind of like, well, listen, I have nothing to be ashamed about. This is my body, and I have nothing to be ashamed about. I have nothing to, Sharita, give yourself some grace and show yourself some self-compassion, and it's self-acceptance, and just being authentically you. I mean, you have to reconnect with yourself going through this thing. And
you do. That's something that I had mentioned earlier. This is a new phase of life. So you have to press that reset button and get to know yourself in this new phase.
Right.
And when you are giving yourself some grace for going through this change, just make sure, as you mentioned, that you connect with other women, that you have some good support from your spouse, from your partner, and also make sure you set realistic expectations. Whatever process you decide to go through, don't expect the result in 2 days, 4 hours. you set realistic expectations, because going through this process, like I said, you're getting to know the new you. And even though this is a new you, also take some time to look at it as an improved you. You're older, you're wiser, you gain more knowledge, and you can pass on what you know to the next person. So there's a lot to be gained. There's a lot to learn in this new phase. And just keep in mind that you are beautiful, that you are feminine. You're just as beautiful and feminine as you were when you were in your 20s, and you still have a lot of blooming
Right.
and growth to do. You still have a lot to offer.
No, you're right. And going back to that, because we have to look at this as a stage of just being free.
Yeah.
No more cycles, pregnancies, if that's your thing, and no more hormonal roller coasters. Like, it at some point you do come off the ride. For me,
Yeah.
it was not having any more cycles, and I this may be TMI, but this month I think is kind of like my 12th month. So hopefully I've reached the end of all of that, where I don't have to deal with that anymore. But I celebrate it because I don't have to deal with this stuff anymore. Like, I'm good for not having a cycle anymore. I got my tubes tied after, my daughter was born, and so I'm okay with that. And at some point I know I come off the hormonal roller coaster, and maybe weight loss becomes a little bit more becomes easier, and you know different things become easier, but I totally do agree when you talk about this stage of renewal, and again, self-acceptance, because it's so important for us women to have this validation that we are beautiful, we are smart, we are educated, we are just these lovely, beautiful, warm beings. And our bodies, they go through a lot. I mean, think about it. We're the only creatures on earth that, humans, that can grow another human and go through all these changes and still be this powerhouse. We get up, we cook, we clean, there are moments where I'm working in between clients. I go upstairs, I may clean, and I'll take dinner out before I have to come back downstairs to do another client. And I had to think about that the other day. I'm like, I am this powerhouse. Like, how am I doing all of this? And I have to be easy on myself. In understanding that, well, number one, you're only human. You don't have to do all these things, but you know, tap into who you are as a person, tap into who you are as a woman. Understand this deeper authenticity that you have, but learn how to love yourself, learn how to forgive yourself, and just be one with yourself. Celebrate the femininity of who you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your strength, the wisdom, that you have, and you're valuable, you're worth, and if I haven't said it to you guys that tap into here every Thursday, you're here, you're listening, especially women, men too, but especially, my ladies, you're queens, you're lovely, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're loved. I love you. And again, learn how to forgive yourself, and learn how to love yourself, and learn how to do for yourself. We may not always have people to do for us, and we may not always have the support, but this is your validation. You are worth it, and you are valuable.
I agree.
Yeah.
And on that point, I know for myself, as I said, being single, I have in my office, which I work, like I said, work from home 3 days a week. It is covered with affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I wake up in the morning, I have my devotion. I have my affirmations in my office. I have some affirmations on my desk at work. And I just make sure that I'm always prayerful, and through Christ, I'm just being reaffirmed about who I am, what I am, what I can do, and even taking some of the mistakes that I made in the past, learning from that, turning those things around, and just trying to apply those things to everyday life, and not just trying to, do pie in the sky types of things, but just realizing my worth, how valuable I am, and things that I can allow in my life that add value, and things that I just do not tolerate that would rob any peace, love, glory, shine away from me.
Right.
So that's a part of that whole process of just getting to know yourself. Sometimes you don't always have people around you to provide that for you. You can always do that for yourself, and you can be your very own constant source of strength and renewal. And even if renewal is just a hot bath at the end of the day, a good book, whatever it is that brings you peace, whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself, whatever makes you feel stronger in your growth and character. And like I said, always, always, always rely on God, because He is going to be your source. Talk to God like He's just sitting right there next to you. Have a conversation. You will grow deeper in your faith and your prayer life. And like I said, this is a process that will make you a whole lot stronger and a whole lot better. And when you're full of all of these good things, trust me, sisters, it is going to shine through and project on your outside.
Right. It definitely is. What did you say? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, amen. And since you're talking about how great we are as women, we're going to have, I don't know if we want to call it National Menopause Day, but we're going to have to give it a name, and we're going to have a national day to where, even though you're going through the change, we're celebrating us.
Right.
We're just taking one day out of 365, 366 during leap year, to where we can celebrate, hey, I am still all woman.
I like that National Menopause Day. I like that. Everybody else gets a day. How come we can't have a day? I like that, because and I think you're absolutely right. Because even during those times when I was having the cycle before menopause, I didn't feel like myself. And again, our bodies go through so much, and we have to have something to lean on and someone to lean on. And I think we deserve to be celebrated. I think we deserve to be supported. I think we deserve to be loved no matter what, and we can't stress it enough about having that foundation and something, to lean on. So I think you're absolutely right. Well, kind of want to share some things that you can do to kind of help reconnect with yourself during menopause. One thing that you can do is, and kind of talked about it, as far as having the affirmations. I mean, you can go and buy some sticky notes and write some affirmations down and put them where you can see them. So every day you're just kind of reminding yourself of the positive, rather than always focusing on the negative of this journey that you're going through. Looking at it again as a period of being free of certain elements. Writing in a journal. Have a journal for yourself where you're just kind of journaling about your day, how you're feeling about you. Reconnect with your body. Yoga, taking a slow walk, going to the gym, whatever that looks like. I mean, this is, your body deserves love. You deserve love, and you honor your body by taking care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever that looks like. Embrace you, nourish yourself, eat healthy, drinking plenty of water, staying away from the alcohol whenever you can. Kind of even talked about, even if it's just a warm bath, light a candle and just kind of sit, with your thoughts, honor your emotions. Every emotion you feel is valid, and it carries a message, It's not about judging yourself and editing anything. It's just about feeling you and being who you are in this process. There's a thing of even rediscovering, yourself. The things that you like to do, want to do, go out there and do it. Give yourself permission to just enjoy life. you know this is all about reconnecting, reclaiming your femininity is a big thing. That was something that was kind of brought up earlier. You are powerful, you're ageless, you're evolving, you're growing. You're you, and it's okay to embrace that. you know um Maybe do a ritual for yourself where it's like every Tuesday you have a book club, or every Thursday you're meeting somebody, or every Saturday you're doing this thing. This is all about being able to reconnect with self and reconnect with life, because yes, we get it. Menopause is here, and you know you don't feel like yourself, but life doesn't stop. You don't stop. Life doesn't stop. Keep going and keep living and keep evolving, keep reflecting, and keep loving you. Do a gratitude journal. Maybe every day you have a you write three things that you're grateful for every day, and they could probably be the same things every day, but what are you grateful for? This is all about this reconnecting, this resetting, and this reorganizing when it comes to your womanhood. um
Absolutely.
you know what I'm
And
saying?
talking
Yeah.
about talking about the gratitude thing, that's a part of my daily devotional when I wake up every morning. And I'm always telling God, all the things that I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be the same things every day. It can be just thankful for His deliverance. But you, like you said, you can pick some things that you are grateful for, and doing those things like that, especially from a spiritual perspective, they help to keep you calm. They help to keep you at ease. They
Mm-hmm.
bring about, like I said, and you hit on the point as well, just a totally different type of renewal. And especially if you haven't done those types of things before, you can find so much reward in that. And as
Right.
I said, the process, so set realistic expectations on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. There's enough demands on us as women, as Black women, that we don't need to put these unrealistic demands on ourselves. So, as I said, allow yourself some grace, allow yourself that room to grow, and you'll find so much positivity that you'll find within yourself, and you will radiate that to other people.
Oh no, I definitely agree, and you're absolutely right. It's hard. We know that
Yes.
it's hard out here, but like you say, when you can honor yourself, who you are and where you are, give yourself some grace in this thing. You don't have to set these unrealistic expectations because of someone else. And don't ever diminish yourself uh, for who you are for someone else. You know, you don't have to do that. Just enjoy you and be you. You know, here's an affirmation for you. Honor the woman that you have been, and welcome the woman that you're becoming. you know
I
that's
like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean,
It's huge.
yeah, it is. And because we know the life that we lived, and having kids and careers and different things like that, and now we have this change. Well, this is just another chapter in your life. It doesn't stop. It becomes, I guess, I can look at it as more of a bloom, or more of a blossom, more of a new chapter, an exciting chapter, in your life again. Um, this marks the age of just kind of being free of certain elements, that we've gone through, you know before, in our latter years, or our earlier years, and now here we are in our latter years. But honor what you were, and welcome the woman that you are becoming. Connie, I really do appreciate you coming on and having this conversation with me about menopause and kind of highlighting your journey. And I'm hoping that a lot of the listeners were able to take something away from this. And again, I'll leave you with always homework to do, because I like to give homework.
I don't like homework.
You don't like homework? I like homework.
I'm sitting now that I'm a grown up. I find other ways of
See, that right there, that right there, that's that right there.
I'm gonna continue working on me. I'm gonna continue working.
Well, but here's what I'm saying, because it so do a 7-day self connection plan. And it's some of the things that we've already talked about, but design something that's going to help you nurture your body, your mind, and your emotions during this transition. Because again, these things are going to be on repeat for you. And this is just here to just kind of help you adjust to this journey that you're going through. So, do a 7-day connection plan for yourself. If you need to Google something, you can, but that's kind of your homework for you. Or you can do like me and Connie and just go outside naked and stand on your balcony and do what works for you. I think I get the bad end of it because I actually have neighbors that are adjacent to me who have a deck. And so, there's no telling what they see when I walk outside, but it's all good. But no, I really do appreciate that. Connie, do you have any last words? Is there anything that you would like the people to know about you?
I have really enjoyed this time. This is a very important topic. It's always going to be evolving. It's always going to be changing, but we're always evolving and changing. So that's a good reason. But just as we said earlier, just embrace this new you, because it is a new you as you go into different areas in your life, new relationships. Just maintain new boundaries that you set for yourself, and don't diminish yourself. Don't allow anyone else to diminish you. Right. Just continue to love you.
Right.
And like I said, there'll be so much positivity coming your way with that.
No, I totally agree. Before I let you go, do you want to give people your match.com profile? Do you want to put that out there on the air? Maybe you can get you a match going.
As I just said, I work jobs. I do not even have time. And all these DIY projects, if I met a man, he's going to have a honey-do list.
You need him to help you with some of those projects.
I do, because it's taking me forever, but it's getting done, and I'm learning a lot through the process. So that's all of that growth and renewal stuff going on.
Listen. So it's all good. Well, listen, I really do appreciate you guys joining me here tonight, but join me here every Thursday, 7 p.m. on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM, where we just laugh, have fun, and have some of these hot topics that come up. Join in on the discussion. But yeah, I mean, this has been great. It's a great opportunity to learn about what this change is and how it affects us, but to also understand too that it's not the end of the world. It may be an end of an era per se, but it's not the end of you. So thank you, Connie, for joining me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, join me here on Thursday, 7 p.m. on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM, where there's always something good to talk about. I will see you guys soon.
Bye. Much love.